With each breath, your lungs absorb about 10,000 microscopic particles. In urban environments, many of these particles are toxic and potentially lethal. Even more frightening is that you cannot see most of them. You may be breathing poison every day without even realizing it. In this video, we will reveal the truth about the air we breathe in cities and the innovative solutions that are emerging to clean our urban atmosphere. 7 million people die prematurely every year due to air pollution, according to data from the World Health Organization. That equals one person every 5 seconds. And the situation may worsen. With the continued growth of the global urban population, which is expected to reach almost 70% of the world population by 2050, cities face an unprecedented challenge to ensure clean air for their inhabitants. But here's the good news. Engineers and urban planners around the world are developing revolutionary technologies and strategies to combat this invisible problem. Let's explore how cities are using cutting-edge science to transform the air we breathe. Before we dive into the solutions, we need to understand the enemy. Urban air pollution has several sources, each contributing its own cocktail of toxins. Vehicles with combustion engines are the main villains in most cities. Cars, trucks, and buses release a mixture of nitrogen dioxide, carbon monoxide, and ultrafine particles directly at street level where we breathe. What many people don't know is that nitrogen dioxide not only irritates our lungs, but also reacts with other pollutants in the atmosphere to form ground-level ozone. Ozone is great in the upper atmosphere, where it protects us from ultraviolet rays. But at ground level, it is a potent respiratory irritant that can trigger asthma attacks and aggravate other respiratory conditions. Power plants, especially those that burn coal or oil, are another significant source of urban pollution. They emit sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxides, and microscopic particles into the air. These particles are classified by size, with the smallest being the most dangerous. Ultrafine particles, invisible to the naked eye, and hundreds of times thinner than a human hair, are particularly problematic because they are so small they can penetrate deep into the lungs and even enter the bloodstream. A surprising fact that few know: indoor pollution can be up to 5 times worse than outdoor pollution. Cleaning products, building materials, furniture, and even the act of cooking release volatile organic compounds and other toxic substances that remain trapped inside our buildings. And we cannot forget the contribution of industry. Factories, refineries, and processing facilities emit a wide range of pollutants, including heavy metals such as lead and mercury, which can cause neurological damage even in low concentrations. This toxic soup of pollutants doesn't just affect our health. It also contributes significantly to climate change. Many air pollutants are also greenhouse gases or contribute to their formation. Black carbon, for example, absorbs heat in the atmosphere and, when deposited on ice surfaces, accelerates melting by reducing albedo, or the ability to reflect sunlight. Now that we better understand the problem, let's explore the innovative solutions being developed and implemented around the world. One of the most promising approaches is the concept of low-emission zones. Cities like London, Paris, and Amsterdam have established areas where highly polluting vehicles are prohibited or need to pay significant fees to enter. The results are impressive. In London, the implementation of the ultra-low emission zone resulted in a 44% reduction in nitrogen dioxide levels in the city center in just 2 years. What makes these zones particularly effective is that they encourage a broader transition to cleaner vehicles. When drivers know they cannot access certain areas with polluting vehicles, they are more likely to invest in cleaner alternatives for their entire daily life, not just for when they need to enter these zones. The electrification of public transport is another strategy that is gaining momentum globally. Cities like Shenzhen in China have already converted their entire bus fleet to electric, eliminating millions of tons of emissions annually. What few know is that electric buses are not only cleaner, but also significantly cheaper to operate over their lifetime, with maintenance costs up to 80% lower than diesel models. Some cities are going beyond conventional electrification. In Seoul, South Korea, they are testing roads that charge electric buses by induction as they move, eliminating the need to stop for recharging and allowing for smaller, lighter batteries. Green infrastructure represents another important front in the battle for cleaner air. Trees are incredibly efficient natural air filters. A single mature oak can absorb up to 22 pounds of air pollution per year. But innovative cities are going beyond simply planting trees. Singapore, often called the Garden City, has integrated vegetation into its urban architecture with vertical gardens and green roofs. The impressive Gardens by the Bay complex is not just a tourist attraction, but also a gigantic natural air purifier. The famous super trees are not just sculptures, but functional vertical ecosystems that filter the air while serving as solar panels and rainwater collectors. Another fascinating innovation comes from an unexpected field: biotechnology. Scientists have developed a special type of genetically modified algae that can absorb carbon dioxide with efficiency up to 10 times greater than normal trees. These algae can be grown in compact bioreactors installed in urban buildings, creating miniature air cleaning plants throughout the city. In Mexico City, a building coated with the material ProSolve 370E demonstrates how architecture can actively clean the air. This coating contains titanium dioxide, which, when exposed to sunlight, triggers a chemical reaction that breaks down nitrogen oxides and other pollutants. A single building with this coating can neutralize pollution equivalent to about 1,000 cars per day. A revolutionary technology that is just beginning to be deployed is air purification towers. In the city of Xi'an, China, an experimental 328-foot tower is producing 353,147,000 cubic feet of clean air per day. The tower functions as a gigantic greenhouse, pulling polluted air through special filters and releasing purified air into the urban environment. Sensors around the tower show reductions of up to 19% in concentrations of the most harmful particles in an area of 4 square miles. Air quality monitoring is also undergoing a technological revolution. Traditionally, cities relied on a few expensive and static monitoring stations, which offered only a limited view of urban pollution. Now, networks of low-cost sensors are being installed on light poles, bus stops, and even on delivery vehicles, creating real-time, high-resolution pollution maps. This data revolution is allowing for much more precise actions. For example, in some cities, traffic lights are synchronized to reduce congestion in areas where sensors detect pollution peaks. In others, alerts are sent to residents with respiratory problems when air quality deteriorates in their specific neighborhoods. Despite all these advances, we still face significant challenges. One of the biggest is funding. Many air purification technologies have high initial costs, even if they save money in the long run. To overcome this obstacle, some cities are implementing innovative financing mechanisms. Milan, for example, created a fund for environmental projects financed by the fees charged to polluting vehicles entering the city. This fund has already financed the planting of thousands of trees and the expansion of the cycling network. Another challenge is resistance to change. Reducing space for cars or increasing taxes on fossil fuels can face strong public opposition. The city of Oslo found an interesting solution to this problem. Instead of banning cars from the city center all at once, they gradually removed parking spaces and replaced them with attractive public spaces, mini parks, bike lanes, and outdoor cafes. When people saw how their urban spaces could be more pleasant with fewer cars, the resistance decreased significantly. But we cannot leave all the responsibility to governments and large companies. Individual actions also have an impact. Opting for public transport, cycling, or walking whenever possible, choosing products with low emission of volatile organic compounds, and reducing energy consumption at home are important steps we can all take. An issue that rarely receives enough attention is environmental justice. In many cities, poorer communities often bear the disproportionate burden of air pollution. Power plants, busy highways, and industrial zones tend to be located closer to low-income neighborhoods, exposing these populations to much higher levels of harmful pollutants. Looking to the future, there are reasons for optimism. Renewable energy technologies continue to become cheaper and more efficient. Electric vehicles are rapidly becoming mainstream, and public awareness about the importance of air quality has never been higher. Some innovations still in development seem like they came from science fiction movies. Researchers are working on pollution-absorbing concrete, air-purifying paints, and even nanorobots that can remove specific particles from the atmosphere. In Barcelona, a pilot project is testing photocatalytic pavements that can reduce nitrogen oxide levels by up to 40%. In India, engineers have developed a device that converts diesel exhaust soot into printer ink, literally transforming pollution into art. The future of urban air will likely involve a combination of all these approaches: low emission zones, transport electrification, green infrastructure, innovative materials, advanced monitoring, and people-centered urban planning. Imagine cities where the air is as clean as in the most remote mountains, where children can play outdoors without risk of developing asthma, where buildings not only house people, but actively purify the environment around them. This is not an unattainable utopian vision. With the technologies we already have and those that are emerging, clean air in cities is a totally viable goal. What we need now is political will, adequate investment, and public awareness. And that's where you come in. Change begins with knowledge and action. Learn about the air quality in your city. Support policies that promote clean transportation and green areas. Consider your own impact and make adjustments where you can. If this video was helpful to you, help spread the message by sharing it with friends and family. The more people understand the problem of urban air pollution and the available solutions, the faster we can create the clean and healthy cities we all deserve. Subscribe to our channel for more content about technologies that are shaping our future. In the next video, we will explore how cities are dealing with another major environmental challenge: water scarcity. Until then, take a deep breath and join the fight for cleaner air for everyone.